Hey, everybody, welcome to this edition of Bedford County Live. I'm David Thomas. This is Bo Gill sitting
Hello.
next to me. We want to thank you for joining us tonight, and it's going to take a little while for everybody to get dialed in. But we want to talk about our sponsors, Bo, tonight.
Yes.
We have got,
IDA Dance Academy at
yeah,
103 Northside Park Drive.
it's Inspired Dance Academy. TN.com is our website. They're at 103 Northside, you
That's
say?
right. You can get.
Northside Park Drive.
That's right.
You can. They've got some of the best instructors dance wise in Middle Tennessee, and we've got it right here in Bedford County, out here on the north side of town at Northside Park Drive. Give them a call if you have a child or if you're an adult and want to get into dance. And it's a great exercise. It's a great way to burn off some calories
Yes,
too.
it is.
Also, we've got Badcock Furniture. Home furniture and more out on Madison Street, 761 Madison Street. Go out and see Mr. Billy King
Billy
and the
King.
staff.
Hey, Billy King. Go
And
see him. He'll help you. He'll get you something. It's furniture and more. So it's right there beside McDonald's. So he's got a little bit of everything. Go see Billy King out there at Badcock.
They'll work you out a very unique payment plan, so it's very affordable.
No credit. Come see him.
All right. Tonight we're going to have a contest. Anybody that chats with us, gives us a comment of any kind, and just checks in with us, you have an opportunity to guess Primetime Live. I'm first in the comments, so let's go. Brendan Taylor. All right, what we have here is from the Shelbyville Snack Shop. They're a new business right across from the Capri Theater.
Yes.
And they sell freeze-dried candy. Bo.
Yes, freeze-dried candy.
I don't know what that is.
Well, these right here are Skittles, and they are freeze-dried, ready for consumption. You know, they're a little hard, but not too hard, and you can't eat them. If I started dipping into that, I would be crunching the whole time.
Okay, so, there's two ways that they got to. There's two things they got to do.
You got to.
First, you got to chat with us, and then you've got to enter a guess at how many pieces are in this little box right here.
It's about this size.
Okay, and here's a small bottle of Aquafina.
So guess the number of Skittles, freeze-dried Skittles, in this container. Who gets the closest without going over?
Whoever gets the closest without going over, just like the price is right.
It's like that Bob Barker would be proud of.
So you got this. We're going to turn this around like this. This is a great value. They say it's delicious. Bo, I know you've eaten some. I haven't.
Yes. My daughter loves them. My wife. And Shelbyville Snack Shop. It's a brand new business in town. You can't miss them. They have the pink walls inside, so you're gonna love it. Go check them out.
Okay, so all sorts of food and candy. Emily Gill says absolutely, and then David Smith. Good evening, David. You want to try to guess? You guess there. He guesses 183.
What does he guess? What does he guess? I don't know.
That is incorrect, but that's a good guess.
Thanks for trying.
All right, Andy Gibson. I heard on one of the Shelbyville groups that this was something from the TikTok. Okay.
It's a TikTok type thing, and we don't really know. I mean, all I know is it's
talking about a TikTok.
I don't know. I'm just what I'm hearing through the grapevine of a 12-year-old. So, you can interpret it the way I do because I don't really know what I'm talking about. But these are good. I do know that.
Okay. Laura Blake, 103 Skittles. That is incorrect.
Keep on guessing. It's just like the guess your weight.
100, Charlie Harper. Is that your final answer? That's not it. Look again.
I tell you what,
these things aren't that big.
While y'all are guessing about the Shovel Snack Shop, I'm on.
Andy Gibson says, I don't know either. I'm a 32-year-old man with a mortgage. I get it.
Well, here's one thing that I had a good time this weekend at CC's Taco Shop on Union Street. It's right there across from the BP. I believe there was something there before. This guy's been there for about 6 months, and him and his mother. They run it, and his mother.
Hold on.
Whoa.
We've got several guesses coming in. Tracy Palmer Craig, 239. Nope. Danny Gibson says 32. Nope. Pat Sanders, 125. Kathy Sands, 195.
We got
Rebecca Ralston Tidwell, 110. Laura Blake, 57. David Smith, 81. All right, David Smith.
Y'all are getting close.
That's two guesses.
Yeah, don't double dip too hard. You get 3 guesses, let's say. And throughout this show. Now, CC's Taco Shop is on 802 Union Street. What I was going to say is they have this taco pizza that is out of this world. And I would give one of those away freeze-dried, but I heard they're not that good freeze-dried. But go check out my dude over there at CC's Taco Shop. You will be glad that I told you about it.
All right, guys. We've got several events that are coming up, and we want to go over some real quick with you. I had an opportunity this past week, and some of you guys have probably already seen the interview with Chelsea Crowell, formerly Chelsea Crowell, but her name is Chelsea Crowell Gregory. She is a dentist, and she was born and raised right here in Shelbyville, and she wants to give something back to the community. And her and her husband, uh, Zach, are coming back to Shelbyville on December. Let's see. Oh no, excuse me, November the 3rd, starting at 7:30 a.m. They're going to provide. It's called Hometown Care Day, and they're going to have free dentistry for anybody that needs help with dentist work. They're going to do extractions and fillings and cleanings, that type of thing. It's going to be at First Baptist Church at 304 East Depot Street. Everybody knows where First Baptist is. All you got to do is show up there, and they have a process to get you in line, and they're going to be there all day long.
At 7:30 a.m. they will start,
right.
And that's on November the 3rd. And that is David and Tammy Crowell's daughter, Chelsea, who is a dentist
in
Henderson, Kentucky, and she's coming back home to serve. And that's November 3rd at 7:30 a.m. at First Baptist Church on East Depot Street.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I know it, but we gotta let them know.
All right.
There is somebody that just tuned in right now that's thinking, okay, where is this? What is this for? They don't know.
All right,
now they know.
So
7:30 a.m. First Baptist Church.
Right. And they're going to have childcare. They're going to have like food and stuff like that throughout the day. So it's going to be a good day for you.
That's a good deal.
There.
That is a good a good thing for Chelsea.
And if you don't know exactly what to do, just show up and they'll walk you through the process. Watch the interview and she tells you all about it.
And then when you sit down, go, and then they'll take care of you. Isn't that all you got to do?
Okay, Bo. Let's talk about
carrying on.
A county fair Christmas on these. Let's see, November the 11th.
County Fair Christmas.
That's at the Bedford County Ag Center on Midland Road, 2119 Midland Road. Everybody knows where the Ag Center is.
What is that?
What is it?
Yes, tell me about this event.
Vendors and food trucks and all types of stuff.
Will Santa Claus be there?
I don't know about Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, please come.
But it's from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Mark that on your calendars. We also have Liberty Schools Fall Festival, which is on November the 4th.
Always a big deal.
From 4:30 to 6:30, food, games, fun, and there's an auction typically. There'll be vendors and all types of games and stuff, and then they're going to have
the cakewalk. They have the cakewalk there. That's always a fun thing.
I don't know. They might do it. I bet they still do.
Yeah.
All right. So be sure and mark your calendars down for that. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up, and today we found out the parade is going to be December 2nd, Christmas parade, the 50th edition.
The 50th.
And this year's Christmas parade, the theme is going to be a 50s Christmas, as in 1950s Christmas.
So get your poodle skirts out, ladies, and men, get out your sleeves and roll them up, right? And put the cigar pack in there. Is that what they do?
I don't know.
Slick back your hair. It's 50s time on the parade, so that's cool.
All right, Amanda Langford, 65. Nope. Guys, look at this again.
You got to look.
There's quite a few in here. I'm just going to give you a hint. That's a pretty good little batch of candy.
It's pretty good.
And then look, it's not real big, so there it is.
But it's real good.
All right, so we've got Teresa Gill is in.
Hello.
Emily says, I missed the lights on the celebration grounds. I do too. Tell me, Emily, what is the status of that? Is that happening again?
I do too. That was really something really good. Remember the one that would wave? I mean, they had a cool thing, and they still have them somewhere. I kind of missed that. I know the park still does their lights. Yeah, they do.
But there was something about driving down Celebration Avenue. They even turned the street lights out.
Oh, it looked
it looked really good.
It really did. I wish they'd do that again.
Charlotte Potts, 118. Nope, that's not it.
No,
but it's the closest without going over. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. The closest without going over. Keep on guessing.
Okay.
At the end of the show, we'll tally up all the guesses, and the closest that is, we'll get these to take home. So we want to thank Shelbyville Snack Shop for that. But let's get into some other.
Well, there's one other thing.
Oh.
At Fairhaven Baptist Church on Wednesday night, starting at 5:30, there's a trunk or treat. That's kind of an early version of I guess Halloween, which is on next Tuesday, but this is coming up just in a couple of days here on Wednesday evening at 5:30. Be sure to go out there if you've got kids.
Yes,
you'll want to run by there. There's a big event going on there.
Yeah, go to Fairhaven. That'd be great. Pastor Allen and all of them out there. Be glad to have you. Fill it up. Yeah.
All right. So, Bo, we did we covered Josh Blevins.
Yes, Josh Blevins.
He's a part of the team here. he went to a couple meetings at the city hall,
Yes.
and he went to a workshop concerning codes.
That's right.
And there was a lot of discussion about codes, and I've seen it on Facebook and other, maybe Twitter, even talking about codes in the city. Um, okay, Brendan Taylor's he misses that Christmas light deal at the celebration too. Deborah and Bill Calvert,
Bring it back.
100,
Bring it back.
115 in here. No, that's not it.
Nope, that's not it,
All
y'all.
right. All right, but
disappointed.
Let's shift gears and talk about this, the codes.
Yeah, codes.
I know there's a lot of people that have filed complaints with the codes department about, well, homes, residential areas with high grass, maybe a junk car sitting in the yard,
Yes.
or other junky things people consider to look junky. And this was addressed at this workshop, and it was talked about how they could possibly step up enforcement. And we found out that they're shorthanded based on the amount of calls they get, and the amount of people they have for enforcement of codes. What do you guys think about there being a code or regulation telling you how high to cut your grass? How do you guys feel about that? And Bo, how do you feel about that?
Well, here's what I feel about it. I will say, first of all, about the city staff, I would say with the population and the growth we have, they are short staffed, and they probably do need some help in that office there. I understand they're going out to all the new constructions and then trying to keep up with all the code violations. That's a tough job. It's a tough job anyway. Hats off to the code guy, but yeah, they do need help. What do I think about the code situation? Well, there's this thing called pride of your property. And some people have it and some people don't, unfortunately. But once again, that is a freedom for that person to have. And I think that when you hear towns as examples mentioned, well, they make if you got a stick out of line in your yard, then they'll stay on you. Well, that's okay. And if that's what you prefer, then I would say go move to those type of locations. Here, yes, whenever you see a house that is, trashed up and cars and grass, yeah, but it does kind of, make you upset that there's not the pride that they put in your as you do. But maybe instead of putting an extra burden on them to give them a ticket or whatever, maybe you could knock at the door and maybe you could just help, or call a church group or something to help these people. A lot of times these people that have all this junk in their yard, they're already financially strapped. And then to throw a city code man in their face right away, doesn't really help the problem. And it almost makes them turn the other way and maybe go up against it. But I think if you encourage people, now look, everybody's not going to take this great and say, sure, some people just want their junk, and that's cool. But you can ask. And then if it comes to it, then you can do city regulation up to a certain extent. But guys, as much as we like freedom for having our nice place, regardless if you like it or not, those people do have a freedom and a right to live and to stack, reasonably, not cut their yard to an unhealthy. They have that right, and that's freedom there. Now, we don't agree with it, and they probably don't agree with our clean houses or my semi-clean house. But I just would encourage you all to think about, I hear a lot of comments saying, well, they need to make them clean it up. Well, we're conservatives here, and we got to get on the same page about all issues. That is a freedom for that person that wants to, not cut his yard, not take care of his house, let something fall down. Now, there's safety issues and there's things in place, but let's try not to put a burden.
Both safety issues for who?
Well, for the person that is actually occupying that house, and that a person might want they might want that safety condition. But if they wanted to borrow money from a bank, then that would be a different deal.
Well, that's still a personal situation.
It is. But then again, whenever like in a bank situation, if they're lending you money and they happen to get it back, they want those covered. That's why they do it. But yes, it is. If I would, then you can't borrow money, David. I'm sorry.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, that's a relationship between a banker and a borrower.
That is, so. But that's true. But I mean, does everyone agree? I mean, is there? I know that some people do. I've been part of organizations at church where we really, try to help somebody, and you dig in, and there's a lot of problems, and you can't just fix it. But what you can do is you can only go so far on some people. You can help them and help them and help them, and then they might just. It just might not work out, but at least you can try. But I think you can burden, especially elderly people and maybe people that aren't mentally right. We may not agree with them, but, constitutionally, they do have rights like that.
Well, I just wonder, we've got all these codes and regulations already in place. We
Yeah.
don't need to make new
No,
rules
we
and
do
add
not.
to
No,
them.
no new rules. I mean, we might need help. I would say we
Okay.
do need some help out there,
I
but
think
we don't need to
this
add bigger government's not a solution.
no, and I don't think. Yeah, we might need somebody in the codes department to help people with building and stuff, but I don't think we need to send the property police out
No,
and start giving tickets. I think what needs to happen is churches, like you said before, need to get out, identify people that need help, and help them,
that's right.
and then see where we stand at the end of it.
And if you need help and you want it and you can't do it, go ask for help. It's okay.
Yeah.
But the zoning officers, they do have police powers. That is a police power position. So they can enforce what's on the book, and that's and I think the ones we have here are reasonable. There's some that are kind of out there but they're not really enforced. But the solution is never bigger government and never more rules and more regulations. It's that's the opposite way we want to go. We want to maybe encourage or try to teach people along the way. I don't know. I know it doesn't work in all situations. I'm a realist. I know exactly that you can't just go to your every next door neighbor and they're going to be fine. They might shoot at you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You can walk away and
Okay.
with bullet holes.
Teresa, the elderly or widows do need help. Yeah, there's a lot of single elderly folks, men and women, that are not able to get out and do the physical labor. They're not able to pay for it because they're on a fixed income. And with the property tax around here, they're doing good to keep their property.
Yes.
And then you've got Social Security. A lot of them are living on by themselves, and they have to pick a choice between maybe having a cool air conditioned house or eating.
Yeah.
And then we're going to throw a burden on them and say, you got to cut your grass a certain height, or we're going to fine you, or we're going to condemn your property, or whatever
medical
it is.
bills are going up. It's on and on. You're exactly right.
All right, let's see. Here we go. Emily says, let's meet up and target some homes and help. Bring your mower, weed eater, etc. If anyone knows of some families that need help with this message, David and Bo, I agree. We will
bring our weed eaters out, right?
Well,
David?
we can get a team of people.
We can. I'll weed eat. I've done this. I mean, at Fairhaven, we go around and we have work weekends. And
Brandon, I don't know, guys. I like my government like I like my winter blankets. The bigger it is, the more comfortable I am. Brandon, we need to have a talk, buddy.
No more blankets. No more blankets for you. Take his blankets.
Or Pat Sanders says, or the people that are complaining could go help themselves instead of complaining. Maybe
that's exactly what we're saying.
I think that's what we're doing here, is making the point of let's try to see who needs help with this.
Let's see who try to make help. We don't have to do it ourselves, but we can reach out. You're putting an extra burden on something that doesn't need it now. That's just the way. I mean, if there's something illegal going, that's a whole different deal. But we're talking about codes and cleanliness.
If you're growing your grass 10 inches high, that's illegal, Bo, according to our codes.
Well, it depends what kind of grass it is, David. If it's that funky grass,
if it's around a house, it's in a neighborhood, it's considered to be illegal. That's according to our codes.
That's exactly right. But they don't really enforce it unless you're growing that other kind of grass, which I'm talking about would be marijuana grass. That would be the type. You can't let that get high at all because they'll bust you. I've heard they will.
Okay, Charlie Harper, if they are renters, go for the owners to clean up. Well, that's tough too. Here's the thing. When you get into this type of regulation and this type of enforcement, it's going to be selective. I don't care who you are. The good old boy system is in play. If it's a certain person, here's the conversation that goes on. Well, we can't really tell him to cut his grass, can we? We don't need to do that.
Yes, you do.
Boy, he's going to be mad.
Well, that's just what that's too bad.
That's the good old boy.
And that's what we need more of is just, it's too bad no matter what. But you will get a lot of that. If there's a lot of complaints about a certain a law that they're not enforcing, you'll start seeing it enforced more for a little while.
All right, Teresa, does the county have that code, or is it only in the city limits? The county's code varies because you're talking about larger property in unorganized development.
Yeah, there's not as much commercial, but there are regulations and codes with the county, but they're not as in depth as the cities. The city's dealing with all types of codes, but they both are ran through a code, and Tennessee Code Annotated spells out a lot of that.
I got a question for you both. Since you're on the planning commission, you know a lot about these codes. When did we start allowing somebody to dump a pile of dirt in a hole and then build a house on it?
Well, that has been going on for quite a while, and when you really start seeing it and noticing it now is because of the real estate market. When the real estate market gets like it is now, with it being a seller's market,
Yeah.
they find all lots that used to be flood lots, and they start filling them now.
I'm specifically talking about a place that wasn't even a lot.
Well, that's what's happening though. They're wherever there's not a lot 10 years ago, they're making a lot.
Man, 15, 20 years ago, if you built a chicken barn, you had to build a pad, and it had to sit for a number of years before you could build on that thing.
Well, no, not they throw up a house in 4 months on right beside a built up lot. There are impact studies they have to go through. I mean, you feel a lot. You hope that it's filled the right way.
Have you been to Union Station lately?
Yes, I have. There's
yes. Comments.
Well, it's very.
I feel sorry for the people that bought houses out there.
Well, there are some that are very very close together.
Okay, we've got 3 more guesses on our candy. How many pieces of candy are in this container? And you win it. It's freeze-dried Skittles, right?
It's freeze-dried Skittles from the candy shop.
In Shelbyville Snack Shop.
The Shelbyville Snack Shop. Okay. Right there on the square across from the movies.
Without going over, we've got a guess of 119. Joe Paul Moore, 225. Sherry Cooper, 126. Joe Paul went and bought a box of this, and he's sitting there counting them. He's trying to figure it out.
I think he is. All right.
But that is not correct. Keep guessing, guys. Keep guessing.
Keep guessing.
Wild berry Skittles, Emily sells.
Wild berry. They look like they've got a little bit of everything, but they look good. I mean, we're going to eat them if you don't guess right.
Well, let's talk about Union Stations, where I was talking about. I drove out there for the first time in a few years.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't been out there in a few years, you will be surprised.
My brother-in-law drove me through to show me the neighborhood. And their houses built on top of houses.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like there's no codes there at all.
Well, there is. That's the thing. But there's a lot of drainage issues on several of them. Some of them have hills in the backyard.
I know. It looks like, man, there's a ski slope in the backyard. It goes down to the next house.
I've appraised some of them in that area. That is, in Pud there,
Drew Leverett, 230. No.
That's
not far
off. A Pud area, it's a dense subdivision. But yes, there are some questionable topography issues
Pat
there.
Sanders, drive back here. Whereabouts is that?
Where are we driving? Let's take a ride. We'll do this on the road.
No, we won't. But I will check it out. Whereabouts is it, Pat? Tell us. Drive back here. Okay.
What's on your mind?
Well, we've got a new neighborhood that's coming in. Was it Jennings Lane?
Yes.
A little ways down Jennings Lane on the left. 120 pieces.
Yeah. 120 lots.
20 lots. Yes. That thing, the lots are going to be this big.
Yeah, well, I will say the process, it has not come in front of the Planning Commission yet, and they're in the preliminary plat stages, but it is to be actually a little bigger as far as the lots there to conform more to that area. I think it's a R1 zone, so that R1 zone is low density residential, and when you go into R4, that's multifamily. I believe this is R1 or R2, but it's a medium to low density. But it's a massive property there. It is right outside the city limits, and they'll be annexing that portion before they start developing. Actually, I believe maybe that one is already in the city limits. The line's right in there.
Let's see, Brendan Taylor. In all seriousness, though, like Bo has said earlier, or said already, it's a fine line between genuinely helping our neighbors and enabling lack of responsibility. I am reminded of Ebenezer Scrooge's words whenever he was asked to donate to a charity, which were essentially, I already donate to the workhouses and prisons. If the destitute really need help, they can go there. And if I'm there,
that's right.
They can go there. Scrooge. And if they'd rather die, they had better do it and decrease the surplus population.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, it's what's on your heart. If somebody's asking for money and you don't want to give them money, that's fine. But if it's laid on your heart that you want to, you can say, I just won't give it to you.
Here's a question, Kimberly Francisco. Do you guys know who can come out and check a well to see if it has groundwater and can be used?
Well, I would say you could call Landers Drilling, well drilling, Warren Landers. They've been in business for 60 probably years or more. I don't know.
Long time.
Long time. They can deal with all your well needs. So look up Landers well drilling. You'll be able to find them online.
I'm looking at this number, Sherry. 250 is not it.
Thanks
Good
for
guess.
trying.
But you can guess more than once. You can guess 3 times.
3 times, 3 strikes, and you're out, just like a baseball game, right? No walks.
Okay. All right. Back on codes issue. Bo, I know we keep talking about this growth, and we've talked about this before. Is
Yes.
just a lot more rooftops growth?
No, it is, but it's not necessarily the type of growth you want. You want a healthy growth, and if you get more rooftops without the the roads, the infrastructure improvements, then what you have is a growth and a big growing pain. And
Laura Blake, listen here. I live in Union Station. Husband and I paid a lot premium for our lot, and the builder ruined it by giving us a backyard with a huge grade. And I'm going to go back up
I've
here.
seen those there, and
it's a huge grade that'll pop your ears if you walk down it.
Yeah, see, and that's just I'm sorry for that. That's awful. I mean, it's a nice neighborhood. It's a beautiful neighborhood, but the density is and some of the topography issues there are a little bit questionable.
Kimberly says thanks for the tip on the well. We've got Deborah Calvert, 268. No, that's not it, Deborah.
They were guessing.
Hey, what about? Oh, Teresa says 117. No,
that's strike 2.
Emily says, "Hey, what about Chick-fil-A hiring 100+ employees?" I say, good luck.
100+.
I say good luck.
What are they expecting? Chick-fil-A Academy?
Well, they've got a lot of different shifts.
I know, but still, do the math.
I say 100+ is going to be a tough chore to do from local.
I think maybe they're just shooting for the stars and hoping to get, but they might get it.
No, they it's going to take that to run the thing, but there's no way they'll get 100 people in the city or county.
I don't know.
They're going to have to import them from Tullahoma or Murfreesboro.
Oh yeah, they didn't say from Chevelle only.
No. They need 100 people, and I just say good luck.
Hey, good luck. Come on, Chevelle, and work here, and then you might live here forever. You never know.
All right, Teresa Gill, 117. No. Joe Paul Moore, 325. No. Behind Walmart on Cedar Glades, all the apartments that are going to be talking about building on dirt piles. Check out the gullies they have filled with dirt.
Yeah,
don't think I'd want a house there after it's been there a few years.
That area came before us on the Plan Commission about 2 years ago. Then about a year ago, it's been in the process to go. They're moving a lot of dirt there. There's going to be multifamily. There's going to be attached single family like condo homes. It's going to be another type of residential
is this Section
area.
8?
No, this is not. This will be individually owned properties here. The behind it is an income Section 8 type of residences. Excuse me, but this one will be individually owned. That was one of the questions actually that I asked during that proposal was: are these going to be Section 8 or apartments? Or are these going to be individually owned? They're going to be type condo type deals, attached townhomes, things like that.
Okay, Laura Blake, more rooftops equals more stress on infrastructure. City needs to put money into infrastructure before they worry about painting up buildings and making the place pretty for the Walking Horse Festival.
That's right. And sometimes it's a hard decision to make because they might spend these millions of dollars and then all of a sudden they got all these roads and the market crashes and then they've got no, but still regardless, that's exactly right. That you have to do your due diligence. Then you have to put input on what we've got projected. And if you put a mile circle around the Fairfield Pike 437 intersection, there is a proposed close to 700 houses in that one area. And if you look at infrastructure right there, that would put a drain. Now, granted, they will be constructed in phases. It wouldn't be just 700 at once, but still. Overall, that's we're going to need some road improvement, and it needs to start now because they're coming regardless.
Well,
how many we got in here? What, we got any close guesses?
Well, there's one.
What's wrong with y'all?
It's too much. All right, I'm gonna start giving a hint.
Let's give a range, in between range.
It's between 150 and 300. That's all I'll say. Okay, Drew Leverett, you're pretty close, but no cigars.
Keep on.
Brendan Taylor. Thankfully, we have unelected NGOs that can help us figure out how to spend our money. Ooh.
Well,
okay.
That's right.
You're right.
They
Brendan,
need to get that way. That's exactly right. Care to comment on that?
I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit. But let's talk about
that's another thing.
Infrastructure that has been brought up here. More rooftops. It seems like that everybody that's elected to be our representatives are really foaming at the mouth to see more rooftops because that brings in more revenue. Mm-hmm. And like was said here, the point was made that there's going to be stress on our infrastructure. Okay, I've been here my entire life. I think there's several people that have moved here that's probably in this chat tonight that moved here because it's a small town and they feel like it's a good place to raise their family.
Yes.
In small towns, there are some trade-offs.
There are.
The traffic's usually not bad. The place is friendly.
It's
quaint. It's quiet. More rooftops put stress on things, and the first stress I see is our traffic flow right now in the city. It's getting really, really bad at certain times.
I've been here my whole life too, and right now is, of course, obviously the worst it's ever been, especially at certain times. These side roads, people are figuring those out. But the infrastructure issue, it has to be dealt with, and without that, all you're going to see is more problems down the road. It has to be something. And when you talked about they want to see more housetops like the government because that brings more money, well, they do like that, but they don't like to spend the money to prepare for that. But that's where we have to get the right representation in there, and they have to make the right decisions, and we got to let them know something. So remember, always happen.
These more rooftops also equals more police, more law enforcement, more fire, more EMS, more everything.
That's right. And then you then add the infrastructure on that. So
it should pay for itself.
Yes.
With the tax increase.
It should.
But how does it change the landscape of Bedford County? What does it do to Bedford County, guys? That's what I'm asking you guys. Joe Paul Moore, 240. Who counted them? Bo can't count that high. We had an auditor that did this. So it was neither one.
That's right.
Neither one of us are good at math. And Charles
Yes,
Carney,
and I can't count. Now, how dare you?
Charles Carney, 222. Ooh, no, that's not it, Charles. No. All right, Emily, the horse show brings so much money in our town. I'm not sure everyone knows how much it helps us. Did y'all have the figure on how much dollars it brings? I don't think there's a way to really know, but I think you can see the increased traffic at hotels and restaurants and other retail businesses throughout that time frame.
You take that average.
Honestly, throughout the whole year. Yeah. Now, it is nothing close to what it was in the 1980s and 1990s. I can tell you that firsthand. It's probably a third to a half of what it was back then, but it's still a significant amount for this county.
Well, the way they estimate that, and there's really, like you said, no way. I mean, you look at an average month in Shelbyville, and then you look at when the celebration's in, you
definitely see
take that and you see that difference. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. It does not have what it did have, but
Teresa Wheeler Gill, 235. No, not yet. Sorry. All right.
I ate 3, so it's changing. I'm sorry.
Emily, there's been lots of studies done on the economic impact of the walking horse industry, not to just Shelbyville, but to the southeastern United States. When the case is made for the USDA to back off of their regulations, this is probably going to be brought up as a vital industry for the area and for the state of Tennessee. So the dollar amount, though, is hard. It's a guesstimate at best, but it is significant.
It's a boost. Right. It's a boost.
Pat Sanders, the correct answer is all of them. Okay, you are correct, but it's not the right number.
They're all in there. We're not tricking. There's
237. And there's some sugar at the bottom. We're not even going to count that.
No, we're not going to add sugar crystal count. Right.
So, Bo, we're having a serious conversation in the middle of our giveaway. It's kind of fun.
It's fun.
But really, I want to see Bedford County better for my grandchildren and my children because they're here and they're going to grow up here. I think that we do have a infrastructure problem that we're behind on.
Yes.
How do we ever get caught up without going bankrupt?
Well, we have to, first of all, we have to manage our money wisely, and that starts from the representatives that we've elected there. We have to make sure that it's spent and not wasted on things. There's a lot of waste out there, but we can save our nickels and dimes and have the money, and we already have it coming in where we can and allot it for that. And then it's up to the decision making. You know, there's a lot of government bureaucracy that gets caught in the way, and it just entangles things for years, and it just don't get done. There needs to be some get it done in there. And I know that you just can't, you know, everybody needs to be involved in the decision, but they need to get it done because it's coming. This is coming. And it's going to be making a not a safe place to drive whenever you've got that much. I mean, just think of the accidents on Fairfield Pike that would create with all that influx of traffic.
Yeah. Charlie Harper, 195. No. Deneen Moyer, 228. No.
And it's not to say that, the drain on the sewer system and the water system. These pipes need to get bigger. These gas pipes. My understanding is that Uncle Nearest is using quite a bit of that, and that. They don't have much more pumping power or much more gas. I know they have to put pumping stations around. There's so many little issues.
Well, Brendan
involved.
Taylor brings up the point that I have in my mind that I wanted to verbalize, that he just jumped ahead and did it. How can we even think about expansion while we're still wrestling with the long-standing infrastructure problems we've had for years? Not taking care of stuff over the last 40 years is going to cost us 20-fold what it would have cost back then if we do it today.
And I don't know if they've dealt with the levee situation with the pumps.
Yes, they're working through that.
Are they? Did they buy the new pumps yet? Or I know they were going to.
Carroll, our mayor, was here talking about that, and there is resolution to that.
Good, because they don't make those every day, and those have been in there probably from the beginning. A lot of you that aren't familiar with Bedford County history, that area off of the square where the big hill is, that wasn't always there. That was a floodplain, and the river would flood the town. Every so many years. That was put in place in the 1960s with the floodgate, and these pumps are very important to this flood control. This is when they put in Normandy or Normandy Lake and all this stuff, and that was built for flood control. But that was there.
Got, Billy and Terry Wilhoit, 223. No.
Close, but no
Janet
cigar.
Baker, 185. Nope. Janet. Deneen Moyer guesses again, 298. Nope. Are the houses on Jennings Lane? This is Joe Paul Moore. Are the houses on Jennings Lane going to be in the city? Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. They are going to be in the city. They are. They're right inside the city limits. If you look at the old Tillett property that's on 41A there on Union Street, it comes up and it goes and it encompasses some of Shaw Road there. It goes right to the corner there, actually.
All right, let's pause for a minute and give kudos to our sponsors tonight, Badcock Home Furniture and More. 761 Madison Street. Go out there and check them out. They've got all kinds of goodies for your home, and they will make you and set you up an easy payment plan for any of their products. They'll do the financing right there in-house. And also we have Inspire Dance Academy, which is at 103 Northside Park Drive. If you have a child or if you as an adult would like to go and get professional dance instruction, this is the place to go.
If you got the urge to learn to dance, call IDA Dance Academy, Inspire Dance Academy.
Right. And that phone number is 931-492-4137.
They'll put a boogie in your step. Boogie in your step.
Okay, Bo. All right. So now we've got some others firing in here. Drew Leverett says 241. Donna Smith says 232. No. Sherry Cooper, totally off topic. Does anyone know whatever happened to the Christmas decorations that used to hang on the light poles?
Well, they've been bringing them back the way I understand. They were here the last few years. They usually start putting them up in November after Halloween. If they don't put them up this year, then we've got to have a protest for the lights. I'm standing first. Okay, it's going to be a light protest.
Those lights cost taxpayer money.
Those lights are already purchased.
But the electricity costs money.
And so does the labor that has to put them up there.
Right.
So bah humbug, Scrooge.
I'm not being a Scrooge. I love Christmas.
No, the lights are coming. Let's hold off on
Sherry Cooper says no, the old cute ones, not the ones we have now.
Well, the cute ones, I don't know. We need to go check the basement. Let's go get a basement check on those.
We got two other guesses. Charlie Harper says 217. Debbie Snell says 302. Nope. Cindy Scoose, 213. Nope. Deneen Moyer, 226. Nope. Deneen, you got one more guess.
All right, y'all are. Come on now.
All right, we can't. We need to wrap things up.
Let's do another.
But no
range. No range.
No, the range
more
is
hints?
good. There's people getting all around it.
Come on, you're all around it.
So we got just a little more time, but let's talk about now this new development that we've been bringing up on Jennings Lane, right off of Jennings Lane.
Right.
Is that going to be considered a PUD?
No, that will not. That will be considered a subdivision, a residential subdivision. It's got a name to it. I forget the name. It will be it's just going to be just like it's going to have roads. It's just going to have it will have
All
a
right.
kiosk like a
William Cruz brought up a very good point. If
Oh.
Jennings Lane gets a new development, they had better make it a 4-lane highway with all the first responders using it to get to 231 because there's a cut through right there. To avoid traffic in town, you can go through Jennings Lane and hang a right.
He's exactly
and come
right.
out over by the Ag Center and come out right next to the store there. What's it called? Speedway?
Yes.
Or Raceway?
Yeah.
It's Raceway, isn't it?
I think so. It's
whatever
racetrack,
it is, right there. Racetrack, right next to
That's
O'Reilly's.
a good point, Mr. Cruz. And I think that's already, as we know, a dangerous area. Even Nashville Dirt, they could take that back way. But the infrastructure, guys, it's got to be in there. Then again, you've got property rights as a builder. They have their rights and they're going through the process. This will be something that'll happen in years, but it needs to be planned. And
let me ask you something, Bo. Since you're on the planning commission, okay, we've got Charles Carney 211 no, Billy and Terry Willow at 224.
Ask Joe Paul too, because he's on the planning commission with
Haley
us.
Brooks Everson 234 no, and Kathy Sons 218. Ooh, no, that's not it. All right, getting back to this PUD, not PUD, but development with a whole bunch of houses on a piece of property that looks too small for that many houses. All right, at what point does the city or the county or both say, let's stop just for a second? We have got to get caught up on infrastructure before we can handle this.
Yeah, moratorium is not something that you want to enable. It is something you can. The county just got out of one. But, with all of this growth that we're having and not the progress on the infrastructure in the timely way we want, I could foresee that happening in the not so distant future if it keeps on going. That's the way that we would be a moratorium on development. But that stops everything, and that just brings a total halt, and that makes a lot of people upset. Rightfully so. We don't want to go there. So
it upsets your builders and it upsets your real estate people.
It upsets.
That's who it upsets.
Yeah, it upsets, but it upsets your building companies, your supply companies. It goes down the.
I get it.
But and you know what that is a symptom of irresponsible government for not planning and getting the infrastructure ready. There at least needs to be some good faith work going on there.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We've got Cindy Scoos 201. Okay, Kimberly Francisco. Any plans to widen 41A north to a 4-lane going towards Unionville?
Well,
I'm not saying we need it. Just hoping it doesn't happen.
There is a plan.
It's not anytime soon, though. Right?
No, but there's a plan. There will be the bypass that goes from Tullahoma Highway. It'll go all the way and connect. That's the next leg. And I foresee that there will be, since it started on 41A towards Tullahoma, they did widen it. I do foresee in the distant future they will widen that too.
Well, I think it's going to be very distant because from what I understand, the property cannot be attained to get the bypass to 41A, but it can from 41A to Lewisburg Highway.
They're having some eminent domain issues, which rightfully so.
They can't take property.
They can, but they have to give a certain price. They can take it, but there are legal ways to stop.
All right, and Connie Hasty makes this point, and I'm going to say amen to it. Bedford County has always done things jackbutt backwards.
Jackbutt.
That's exactly right. And that gets us to this. If you want to see things change there, you have to turn out in 2026 and vote for people that are going to represent you. That's right. The bottom line. Diane Peach Neely, 220. Kathy Sons, you are the winner.
Kathy Sons, all right.
Diane, you was close.
219. You get the Shovel Snack Shop freeze-dried Skittles.
Kimberly Francisco says, I'm worried about my property.
219. See? 219.
I get it. Kimberly Francisco, I get it.
Congratulations.
Anytime there's construction, it can negatively affect your property value or it could boost your property value depending on what they do with it. And a lot of times businesses suffer big time when there's changes. And I'll tell you, on North Main Street, where McDonald's is, it's going to be a little sketchy for about 6 months.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to get used to. They've already started on the site preparations. It'll be up before you know it. It might be Chick-fil-A. I doubt it, but it's working on it. And the new Dollar General out Madison Street is brick. It's going to be a brick one, so it is going to be a little bit upscaled to adhere to the our design standards. And
Deborah and Bill Calvert. Is this a start of the 15-mile city? Just asking. Don't know.
It could be. It started Murfreesboro, Shelbyville. They're going to go. They're going to go like this one of these days.
I don't think it ever will.
Well, it will, but it might be 200 years.
Here's what I understand. Bo, at about Christiana and south, there is some sort of water protection for a area that it's been marked undevelopable.
Mm-hmm.
You can't develop it, and I can't remember what the name of it was.
Well,
and it goes all the way over to Manchester. It's some kind of watershed.
It's a watershed. That's where the water comes through as far as the drainage for the valley. When you look at most of the land on 231, it's floodland. Some of the poorest land in the county, flat. It really is. Right there in Deason, if you're going north on the left, it's just rock, but it's the best location. But that is exactly right. If you look at a topography map, the drainage for the basin, and we're talking large scale.
It's never going to be developed right there. So we're going to have a gap of that land, and it comes into Bedford County a little ways from all the way from Christiana. So there's about an 8 to 9, maybe even a 10-mile width strip of land that's kind of in a wedge sitting going across 231, opening up toward Manchester, that we're not going to see developed in our lifetime.
Not unless some kind of technology comes up. It wouldn't be a high density residential anyway.
Connie Hasty, Chevel's always done the good old boy elections. I've lived here all my life and nothing has ever changed. I'm with you there. But here's the thing. We have to activate people and get people to get out and vote.
Remember, there's 5,000 to 7,000 on a good year, maybe 4 that turn out on an election. There's 29,000 registered voters in Bedford County. We've got to get out. We've got to get off our butt, and we have to reach those people, and we have to make them. Well, not make them. We have to ask them to get involved, and we might have to make them, because a lot of people do care. We care about what's going on, but we don't voice it unless it's affecting us personally. I say we get involved every time. I'm off my soapbox.
Yeah, I agree with you. We've got to. When we have the 5, 6, 7, 8,000 people that come out to vote, that's a handful. We've got to have 15, 16, 17,000 people get out and vote, and it's not going to be a presidential election in 2024, 2026, when we elect our county representatives again. Everybody thinks that the president election is the most important election, but guys, we live in Bedford County. Our most important election in Bedford County is the Bedford County election, and it falls off of a presidential election. People will get out and go vote for Trump or whoever it is that's running, and whoever it is that they're going to choose. And they'll get fired up about that, but it's time for people to get fired up about Bedford County.
Yeah, there's people that keep their eyes on the national level, and I do too a little bit. But this is where we make it happen. This is where we make decisions. This is where we should get the most upset. This is where we should guard against these transgender people trying to get in bathrooms and these crazy transvestite reading material things. We have to stand strong, because more than likely we disagree with all that. And I know that the conservative area we're in, that's one of the things. So if you wait and you do nothing, then stuff like that's just an example. And if that's what you're into, that's great. That's all into you. But
Laura Blake, everybody get out and vote for the people who actually have good planning abilities. All right, I'm going to say this, Laura. We have citizens in Bedford County that have good planning abilities. We need to elect people that will listen to them. Because a lot of these people that have those good planning abilities are busy running a business, and they don't have the time to be a representative. We need to put people in town that will just listen. We don't need leaders. We don't need planners. We need people that will listen to leaders and planners.
That's right. And that's what we don't have a lot of. But I would say that I've noticed a lot, in the city where I deal with as the planning commission, if they don't know and you tell them, they're willing to listen. And if they don't, then there is a way. If they're not listening to you, then you can go elsewhere, but they will hear you. Now, do it in a polite manner. There's no reason to go in there and start cussing them. I mean, I get it. Everybody's mad, but if you want a relationship to thrive and maybe something to go your way, start.
All right.
Easy.
So Emily asked this question. Hey, can you ask if anyone on the live chat has contacted their commissioner since the last show? Who has contacted their commissioner? Let's just say in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Anybody?
And it don't have to be yours. It could be another one but about an issue. Has anybody contacted them? There's several things. It's not really a whole lot of hotbed issues going on, but sometimes, you can call them and say, can you update me on what's happening? can you let me know what's happening? Are there anything that concern us? And they may say no, but they could provide you maybe with a detailed report of what's happening. You can demand these things from commissioners, and they'll be some of them will be more than happy to give them to you.
Oh yeah, there's some out there that actually want to listen and have a dialogue, but then there's a lot that if you call them, good luck.
Remember, they're not leaders; they're representatives. Think of them as a deacon in a church. They're there to serve you. That's what That's how when our country was founded, that's how it was intended to be used, not to make millions and to sit up in Washington and to.
If you want to know, Emily brings this up. There's a lot of new people on here tonight. If you want to get a list of your county commissioners, you can go to Shelbyvillenow.com and click politics, and you will find a district map. Find yourself on that map, find out what district you live in, and then go to the reference chart where it gives you all 9 district commissioners and their phone numbers. They're right there. Or if you can't find it there, go to the Bedford County government website. You can look there as well. But the phone numbers are there. The emails are there. Reach out to them.
Hold them accountable.
Yep, absolutely. Tell them you want somebody to listen to you.
I like to be held accountable. Hold them accountable.
I don't want them making decisions for me. I want them to listen to me.
And that's the way a government should be ran. Now, that's it. If it's a law-abiding concern and something, they ought to entertain it at least.
Yeah.
Then the action, that's up to them. And then if they don't act in the way they should and that most people think, that's where the elections are important.
Kimberly, you said you called about road work and got the runaround. Here's what I suggest. Get 10 friends, give them the same number, and you call in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tie up their phone lines to the point where they got to give you an answer. Be the squeaky wheel.
And unfortunately, sometimes that's the way you have to be.
All right, guys, we need to wrap up tonight. We appreciate you guys being here.
It's been fun tonight.
And we're going to get this.
Kathy Sons, congratulations. Yeah. She guessed there was 219 in there. I'm sorry, Joe Paul, you tried. You were close a couple times. All of you were. But thanks for everybody that's participated and watched us. We just appreciate it. And, share with your friends and let people know to go to ShelbyvilleNow.com for all the breaking news stories, obituaries, crime reports. We're here. This is free too. And, as far as Bedford County Live, every Monday, 8:30, this is your show. Remember, we want to hear from you. Bring us the topics. And you might get some sweets at the end, like Kathy did tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna have prize next week too. Next week is the eve of Halloween, so we got something special.
Oh boy!
All right, guys. We appreciate you guys watching, and we also appreciate our sponsors.
Yes.
Inspire Dance Academy at 103 Northside Park Drive, and Badcock Home Furniture and More at 761 Madison Street. Go check those guys out. Thank you to our sponsors. Y'all have a good night. Bring a friend next week, and be sure to visit us at ShelbyvilleNow.com. Have a good evening.